17, I have returned about halfway through the month of January and about a week later than I originally anticipated, but yeah, I took a break from making videos, which is the norm for me around the holidays. This year, I really needed it for a multitude of reasons. Not the least of which being that I am actually going to be moving soon. I need to really decrease that commute to work. So I'm actually going to be moving into my new apartment at the end of the month. So my surroundings that I've had for the last 2 years, get a nice look at the place because you won't be seeing it for too much longer. I know when I moved initially 2 years ago, some people missed the dimmer that was in my old place. I guess that was my old co-host, and now I'm wondering if now that I'm making a switch again, I wonder if people will be like, oh, but I miss Cal Ripken in the back there, and I miss the Star Wars posters. But I don't know what my new apartment is going to look like once I've furnished it and I've moved all my junk over there. I'm not looking forward to the move at all, but you know, it's a move that needs to happen, and I like my new place. I've seen the empty apartment. It looks great. I'm just not looking forward to actually moving all my shit over there. But that's something that I'm going to be dealing with for the next few weeks. So I might still be a little light on the videos. But like I said, a new place is coming and new surroundings are coming. So be on the lookout for that. But I have a bunch of other things I want to get into. Namely, you know, Royal Rumble and Wrestlemania. Those are all coming up soon. Also wanted to talk about TNA and them now being run by Anthem and what changes are going on there. But before I get into any of that, wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you all to my loyal viewers and subscribers who watch my videos. Wanted to run a couple ideas by you. Actually, I was going to go over one of my Christmas presents. I'm actually wearing one of them right now, the Lucha Underground t-shirt. But another Christmas present that I got was this little doodad right here, which weighs about 50 pounds. This book is so fucking big. My family surprised me with this book. The He-Man and She-Ra Complete Guide to the Complete Animated Adventures. Now, if you know me, you know that I grew up watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power, and Thundercats, and Transformers, and G.I. Joe, and Ninja Turtles, and DuckTales, and various other cartoons. So I have a lot of nostalgia for them. Nostalgia is a very powerful drug. And this book, if you're a fan of He-Man and She-Ra, I highly recommend this book, because I've only, flipped over it, and it's very comprehensive on the type of stuff that they cover, from behind-the-scenes material to storyboards to trivia to reviews of the episodes. So it's really a very good book. There's even a picture of what Orko would have looked like unmasked, which I wish I hadn't seen it, because A, it's terrifying, and B, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. It's really weird. So now whenever I see Orko, I'm going to think of that ugly unmasked face of his, and it's just terrifying. But yeah, one idea that I wanted to throw past you guys, like I said, nostalgia is a very powerful drug, and now that I have this book, it's kind of inspired me to do something related to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So I was thinking about doing, and this will be much later in the year, like after WrestleMania, possibly sometime during the summer, possibly doing a top 20 episodes list of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Because I think it'd be really interesting to go back and talk about my feelings on that show, because obviously it is a very cheesy show. It is a very, you know, it's definitely made for kids, and it's easy to poke fun at it, but at the same time, I saw it at a very young age, and it would be fun to talk about something that did inspire me and did capture my imagination at such a young age, and something that I'm very appreciative of. So I would love to throw that perspective on there when I talk about He-Man. And, yeah, what do you all think? Would you like to see me do a video like that, based off He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? Sort of in the vein of my Mystery Science Theater episode from a while back, and my, my Godzilla reviews. I've also considered doing, I know I've gotten a few requests for these, and I've thought about doing them, separate kaiju movie reviews, in the vein of my Godzilla reviews. That's something I've been thinking about doing. Namely, reviewing the Gamera movies and a lot of the Toho standalone films. You know, like Rodan, War of the Gargantuas, Varan, all that stuff. And also reviewing the Daimajin trilogy, which I've watched, I've had a chance to watch them, and I'm glad I did. So it's nice to have that little, you know, off my kaiju bucket list, you know, have that checked off. So, yeah, more kaiju reviews. I've thought about doing that as well. So if you're interested in seeing that, comment down below, and I'll see what I can do. Also, my Star Wars reviews will continue. The next video will be up, if not tomorrow, then within the next couple of days. And I guess I'll just tell you right here, because it's not a huge review as far as like what I'm covering, but I thought first video of the new year, I decided for the Star Wars book reviews, I would actually be reviewing the movie novelizations of Star Wars episodes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, Force Awakens. Why not episode 3? Because I already reviewed it as part of the Dark Lord trilogy. Why not Rogue One? Because I do not own that novelization. I have not read it. So I can't, and I just don't have enough time to finish the book in time to add it onto this review. And, of course, this review will also include a tribute to Carrie Fisher, Kenny Baker, and some of the other ones that we've lost in the Star Wars community. And obviously Carrie Fisher's loss was a huge one for Star Wars fans everywhere, and I definitely want to pay my respects to her and talk about it, and talk about what she meant to me and what Princess Leia meant to me as well. So it's gonna be that one's gonna be kind of tough to get through, but that'll be my next Star Wars review, so like I said, be on the lookout for that. So I think those are all my major channel updates that I wanted to bring you all up to speed on. Like I said, if you want to see kaiju movie reviews, if you want to see 80s cartoon videos, and it doesn't have to be just He-Man either. I should make that point too. I can also do Ninja Turtles, Real Ghostbusters, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Transformers, DuckTales. I just found out they're doing a new DuckTales show in 2017. I was like, what? I didn't know that. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that. Fuck yeah. It's gonna be great. But yeah, if those are something you'd be interested in seeing, comment down below, and I will be more than happy to accommodate. But time to get into the wrestling side of things. Couple of things I need to get caught up on. You already saw my Raw versus SmackDown update. SmackDown has pretty much been handing Raw its ass on a silver platter the last few weeks, which doesn't say much. SmackDown's not even that great. It's just not annoying compared to Raw. And again, as I've said before, the fact that it's not 3 hours definitely helps. But Raw, it's just, I don't know, it's just too much of a mess at times. But anyway, one other thing I have to get over with is my top 10 matches for December 2016. So let's get into that right now, shall we? Okay. Brand of the month. For December, I'm going to give it to Lucha Underground because, show my love and support for that brand. Yeah, I just felt like, once again, the episodes week to week, very good. December, it was the exact same thing. So they get my brand of the month for December 2016. Although they probably won't get it for January 2017. And I'll explain that more as I get into the major review of this video. But moving on from there, top 10 matches for December 2016. Number 10, we got Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay versus Dragon Lee from Ring of Honor Final Battle in a triple threat match for the ROH TV title. Like I said, Final Battle was not that great of a show. It was I was kind of ho-hum on it. But I thought this match was really good. It was a good showcase for the talents involved, especially Will Ospreay, who I think has he's got a lot of gifts and is a very unique talent. And I think it's going to be very interesting to watch him grow and develop as the years go on, because I think he's got a lot of raw potential. He really is. Physically, he's really something special. And I've made comparisons to AJ Styles. Now, is he going to be able to develop in the same way that AJ did and become more than just a spot guy? We'll see. We'll see. But he's got plenty of room to grow, and he's got a huge upside to him. I'm very impressed with him so far. Number 9, Johnny Mundo defending the Lucha Underground World Championship against Sexy Star in a steel cage match from the 12/21 episode of Lucha Underground. Yeah, a few title changes for the Lucha Underground title. We had Sexy Star winning it in Aztec Warfare, and then she lost it the next week to Johnny Mundo, who cashed in his Gift of the Gods championship shot, which, oddly enough, he also won the Gift of the Gods title from Sexy Star. And they had this rematch in a steel cage to kind of be the closer to their feud. Really good match. I mean, Mundo is insane in a steel cage. I mean, he's just like, it's a perfect match for him because he's he can do parkour and all that other crazy stuff. So a match like this is just a natural fit for him. And I like him as champion. I think he adds a very different dimension to the show. Because prior to him, we had Prince Puma as the babyface champion. And then we had Mil Muertes, who was a monster. And then we had Phoenix was a transitional champion. And then we had Matanza, who was just another monster. And now we've got Sexy Star, who was a transitional champion to kind of just generate buzz and get headlines for, oh my god, a woman's the world champion. And now we've got Johnny Mundo, who's a very different type of heel from what Matanza and Mil Muertes were. He's more of a Shawn Michaels DX type of heel. And I think the stuff he's doing with Worldwide Underground, Jack Evans and PJ Black and Taya, I think is really good. I think they add a lot to the show. So I'm really happy that Johnny Mundo is the champion. And I look forward to seeing what else he can do. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing the All Night Long match with the Mac, because I don't know how the fuck that match is going to work. I don't know if Mac can do a match that goes all night long like that. But again, we'll see. I'm intrigued. It's intriguing, so we'll see if it works. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Number 8, DIY defending the NXT tag titles against Akira Tozawa and Tajiri from the NXT Osaka show, which aired on the network on December 28th. This was kind of like the nice little surprise on the show. It was cool that they aired the Osaka show. I didn't think it was that great overall. A lot of the matches kind of fell flat for me, and the Nakamura Joe match I already saw because they aired that earlier on NXT a few weeks prior. So the show was like, yeah, it's kind of cool that we got to see it, but at the same time, it wasn't that great of a show. This one, though, this match was like the surprising little gem. Again, you have these 4 talents that are all very gifted athletes, and they just went out there and had a really killer, action-packed match. And it was, like I said, it was a nice little gem. It wasn't anything special, not a Match of the Year candidate or anything like that, but it's like, wow, that was a really cool, fun tag team match on a show that's, I don't want to say lifeless, but really not that special in the grand scheme of things. It was pretty cool, and I enjoyed watching it. So, number 8 on my list. Number 7, more tag team action. I'm actually giving it to 2 matches that happened on the same night. The New Day defending the WWE tag team titles, again, the Raw tag titles, I should say, against the Club and Cesaro in a triple threat match. And then later that same night, the New Day defended their tag team titles once again against the duos of Jericho and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. This was on the December 12th episode of Monday Night Raw, which was probably one of the better episodes of Raw in a long while because it had meaning and substance to it, because this was the night where New Day could potentially break Demolition's record. So it had historical significance, had proper context, and I had a reason to give a shit about the matches. And when New Day won the first match, I was like, oh, that they did that first? And it kind of put the idea in my head that something was going to happen. Sure enough, they did the stupid backstage segment with Stephanie, where she tried to screw them over and put them in a second title match later in the show. And I'm thinking, okay, are they going to pull the rug out from under us, or are they going to actually go through with this and have New Day win the titles, or break the record? It'd be very interesting. And bookending the show like that made the show more interesting to watch and made it feel like there was a storyline going throughout the entire night. And it wasn't just, you know, just random main event tag team match between the 2 big pay-per-view matches at the next pay-per-view. It wasn't something like that. It's actually felt like, okay, this is a payoff, and this is going to have some major historical implications. So it was exciting to watch just for that. New Day ultimately ended up breaking the record. It was kind of cool, and overall made for a fun episode of Monday Night Raw. Number 6, another NXT match. Bobby Roode versus Ty Dillinger versus Roderick Strong versus Andrade, Cien, Almas in an elimination match for an NXT title shot. This was from the December 21st episode of NXT. Just a really good elimination match. I've talked about this before. Multi-man matches, I typically prefer them when they're to determine contenders and not so much for titles, because to me, titles should be kind of like the title shots should be a contested position. And I think elimination matches and multi-man matches are kind of a good way to do that. Having a title involved in those situations typically kind of, I don't know, kind of cheapens the title win, especially if the champion doesn't have to be pinned to lose the title, or if, you know, if it's something like an Elimination Chamber match where it just feels like the champion's getting hosed. I don't know. It's just, and again, it's a personal thing. It's, you know, there are no absolutes or anything, but it's, I'm not a Sith. Yeah, I typically prefer these type of matches to be non-title. And this was a non-title match to set up the next TakeOver title match. And now we're going to have Bobby Roode taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, which is very interesting to me. If it were up to me, I'd have Bobby win the title, but we'll see. we'll definitely see. But I thought this was a really good four-way, and we got to see Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode work together again. They have great chemistry, and I think they do really good stuff together. Roderick Strong, I think, is boring as hell. The move to NXT has not done anything to change my opinion of that. Andrade, Cien, Almas, he's better as a heel, but he's still not that interesting. So it was nice, but, you had Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger, and I thought they carried the match appropriately well. And Bobby Roode won, which I thought was great, and now we got Bobby Roode main eventing a TakeOver special. I'm very excited for that. That's going to be very cool. What else do we got here? All right, number 5. Cage versus Texano Jr. in match 5 of their Best of 5 series. This one being made into a no DQ match. This was from the 12/28 episode of Lucha Underground. They actually did matches 4 and 5 in the series on the same night. I probably would have just had Cage win match 4 and just be done with it, because it's always like, whenever you do a best of 5 or a 2 out of 3 falls match, most of the time they go to the final fall or the final match, and to me it's like, that's too predictable. It makes, it'd be cool because, not every World Series goes to Game 7. Not every NBA championship goes to Game 7. Not every not every Stanley Cup goes to the last game. It's I don't know. It's just one of those things where wrestling kind of gets too stuck in their own formulas and tries too hard to make it as exciting as possible, to where they wind up making things predictable. And it kind of made match 4 pointless, because I just kind of knew it's like, all right, Texano's going to win this one because we have to have match 5. And they actually ended up doing match 4, and then Dario immediately says, like, you know what? Screw it. You're doing match 5 right now, and it's no DQ. I would have just done match 4 and just be done with it. But in any case, I thought match 5 was a really exciting brawl. Crazy stuff. The stuff that Lucha Underground is very, very good at doing. And a very nice closer to the series. Cage got the win, and as a prize, he got the gauntlet, which is making him more powerful, but also he is slowly being possessed by an ancient Aztec god. Lucha Underground, they do crazy things, and this is one of the crazier things that they've done, but it'll be very interesting to see how long it'll take that magic gauntlet to take over Cage's soul, whatever. It's really wacky and weird, but it's a lot of fun too. And I thought the final match in the series was very good. And number 4, another Lucha Underground match: Mariposa versus Killshot versus Jerimiah Crane versus Dante Fox in the Battle of the Bulls tournament first round match from the December 14th episode of Lucha Underground. The Battle of the Bulls tournament was used to determine a number 1 contender to the Lucha Underground title. It was won by the Mac, ultimately. But this was the best match in the tournament, I felt. This was the most enjoyable, and it was really, it was between the guys that are kind of, I mean, I don't want to say bottom of the totem pole, but the guys that are not, like, the top-level stars. Mariposa, yeah, she had the match of the year for them with the No Mas match, but she's not, like, one of the major players. Killshot and Dante Fox, they're having a feud right now, which is actually a really good storyline. But you don't really think of them as main event top guys. And Jerimiah Crane, who really just got there and is still getting his feet wet. So coming into this, you didn't really expect any of these 4 people to ultimately win the tournament. But they went out there and had a really good action-packed match. I mean, Mariposa, cheerleader Melissa, we all know she's a great worker. But, she went in there with 3 other guys and held her own and did very, very well in there. And then the added element of Killshot and Dante Fox having their own feud, that only added to the match and made it more enjoyable. So, yeah, I thought it was, again, a surprise little gem from Lucha Underground that didn't really expect much out of it, and it turned out to be something really cool. Number 3, AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE title triple threat match from the December 27th episode of Lucha, from Smackdown Live, I should say. I'm sorry. This was one that they slipped in right at the end. It was the last major title match of 2016, and it was a damn good one. And again, you look at it on paper, it's, AJ's going to win. I mean, there's no way that Ziggler's winning the title, and there's no way that, they're going to... Really, there's no way that AJ's losing the title right before the Royal Rumble. It's like, all right, we all know Cena's going to beat him at the Rumble. I'd say it's a very high probability that Cena's going to win the title at the Rumble. AJ is not going into WrestleMania as the champion. That much is clear. So if he doesn't lose it at the Rumble, he's going to lose it in February. But So yeah, but even with that, you've got guys that poor Ziggler, who's been fucked over so many times, like the fans are finding it harder and harder to care about him. Corbin, who's trying to establish himself as something special and really move up and improve, and AJ, who's just AJ and does great all around. I thought all three of them meshed very well together, and they had this really good, really awesome match. And they did that one spot with like the zigzag end of days like combo that was really interesting and very cool. But yeah, it was just a very good title match for one that could have just as easily been a throwaway TV match, and they went out there and wanted to close out 2016 with a really strong match, and they did. So more credit to them. I thought it was really good. Number 2 on my list, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE title in a TLC match from the TLC pay-per-view. I've had my misgivings about the TLC pay-per-view concept. I've said it before. When you have a ladder match and a table match and a chair match all on the same card, it really renders the TLC match somewhat meaningless, because it's like a lot of the spots that you expect to see in a TLC match have already been done 3 or 4 times earlier in the night. So it kind of takes away from them. And I thought it really hurt Dean and Bray when they did it. It was either last year or the year before. I don't even remember. They all blend together after a while. But AJ being AJ, man, went out there and had a hell of a showing once again. And Dean, the matches that those two have had together, I think have been great. They typically deliver in pay-per-view main events, and this was no exception. Could have done without the Ellsworth stuff, because I'm kind of sick of Ellsworth, but other than that, I thought it was a very enjoyable, very good main event, and a worthy closer to the WWE's pay-per-view year in 2016. And then my number 1 match of the month, y'all are going to hate me for it, but I don't care. I'm going to give it to Tag Team Apocalypto from Total Nonstop Deletion. I don't think I've ever given TNA match of the month before, since I've started doing this. I think this is the first time I've done it, but this match was so crazy and so insane and so wild, and it just did such insane, stupid, crazy shit that 6 months from now, it's like I'm going to remember this match. There's no way I'm not going to remember this match. It's that insane and that crazy and that entertaining. And again, it's one of those things. If you're on board with the Broken Hardys and all the crazy shit that they're doing, this was amazing, and you probably loved it. If you don't get it, you don't like it, you didn't like the Final Deletion, you didn't like the Great War, you didn't like Deleted Decay, you didn't like any of that stuff, you're going to hate this. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's just, I hate to be like black and white, cut and dry like that, but that's really how it is with these type of things. You either love it or you hate it. And personally, I get a kick out of it because it's so off the wall bonkers that I mean, it's like points for creativity. Where the hell did they get those cherry pickers? I don't know. Where'd they get a volcano? I don't know. Like, why do the Hardys have a volcano in their backyard? I don't know. It was such a wild and crazy match that it's like, I'm still like, kind of, it blew my mind. It was one of those type of matches. And when you consider how crazy the Great War was and how crazy Final Deletion was, this one like topped it tenfold. It's like, all right, fine. No complaints here. So, those are my top 10 matches for the month of December 2016. My top 10 matches for the month of January 2017 will be coming first video in February, so be on the lookout for that. But I guess it's time to talk more wrestling. Got a few things to cover. A lot of things have happened. It's obviously Royal Rumble Wrestlemania season. Royal Rumble is coming up very, very soon. We know some people who are going to be in it. Looks like a wrestling retirement home. I mean, I hate to be a dick about it, but it's like, okay, who's in the Royal Rumble? The Undertaker, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. It's like they're dusting off every part-timer they can find to put in this thing. And really, I mean, I just feel like Undertaker's going to win the Rumble, so I'm just wasting my breath at this point. And I've made it clear, I'm sick to death of Undertaker. I don't want to see him work anymore. The last 3 WrestleMania performances The last 3 WrestleMania performances he's had has made me want to just turn the TV off and stop watching WrestleMania. They were that bad. I don't want to watch him anymore. I'm just bored. And now it's like he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And this is 10 years after he won it in 2007, which that was supposed to be his big nostalgia, one last big win before he retires. And that's why it says, oh, Undertaker should be a champion again before he retires. I'm like, he's already had that one last retirement run like 3 or 4 times. I mean, Jesus Christ, how many more of these is he going to get? And I'm going to elaborate on this more when I talk about Wrestle Kingdom 11, but it's like WrestleMania, it really is becoming like a glorified Legends show. I mean, it's becoming more and more of a thing. It's like, and the damaging part, the real damaging part is that really the WWE is confirming their own, what's the term I want to use here? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, oh, well, so these new stars, they're not draws. They're not the draws that the Attitude Era guys are. So let's keep promoting the Attitude Era guys and giving them all the big spots at WrestleMania. It's like, yeah, but you're taking away from the young guys and you're putting them in positions where they can't be big draws. And because the Attitude Era guys have the nostalgia and they're part-timers, yeah, they're going to be more special because we don't see them all the time. So you're conditioning me to care more, and you're conditioning the fan base to care more when the older guys are around, and it damages the young guys. And really what it does is that it conditions people, it conditions fans to, at least me anyway, you're basically telling me, if you look at a WWE season of television from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, and that's their whole year, that's their season, you're really conditioning me to think that 9 months of your season are unimportant, because really, at this point, it's like, all right, January's rolling around. When's Undertaker? When's Shawn? When's Rock? You know, Goldberg, Sting, Triple H, who the fuck ever. It's like, all right, who's coming back? And it hurts the young guys that are there carrying the show week to week. And, you know, and it's not even young guys, because AJ's not that young, but he's there every week carrying the show. Jericho's not young at all, but he's there every week contributing to the show. And to his credit, has gotten new material over and has a storyline heading into WrestleMania. Is there going to be payoff to his relationship with Kevin Owens? There should be. They should either have a match against each other, or they should be paired up in some way, shape, or form at WrestleMania. Maybe do the split at WrestleMania. I don't know, but they should be featured prominently at WrestleMania. And I don't know what they're going to be doing. Like, I'm looking ahead. We've got like 2-3 months until WrestleMania, and I honestly don't know what they are doing at WrestleMania. And at this point, I should have an idea. AJ Styles, I have no idea what he's going to be doing at WrestleMania, and that's ridiculous, because he's been he was the superstar of the year. And it's like, I have no idea what he's going to be doing at WrestleMania, because he's not going to be champion. I know that much, because it's going to be Cena, Taker, most likely. Maybe Roman and Undertaker, which, great. It's going to be Goldberg, Lesnar again. Yippity zippity doodah. Which it's like, wait, so you do the 90-second loss just for Lesnar to come back and face him again, and then I'll probably win? And it's like, so what was the point? Like, who cares? I don't care. It's, you know what they should have done if they were going to give the 90-second win to Goldberg? And this, again, it's in the interest of creating a new star. Why not do Strowman versus Goldberg after you've given Goldberg that win over Lesnar, and then have Strowman go over, and then you've potentially made a new star? I mean, I'm not saying Strowman is the be-all, end-all, and that he's the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the galaxy, and everything, and that he's this, you know, just future main event megastar waiting to break out. But I'm saying, look, he's a big guy that, you know, is believably huge, believably dominant. Why not take advantage of that and try and make something out of him? You know, it's kind of like, I look at Bray Wyatt and how everybody said, oh, he's like the new Undertaker. Yeah, but he loses all the time whenever he goes up against the actual Undertaker. Then last year at WrestleMania, you know, they put him in the ring with The Rock. It's like, oh, he's getting a rub from The Rock. Yeah, he's getting humiliated by The Rock. So it's just The Rock beat up 3 scrubs. It's like, yeah, but Rock's the draw and Rock's the star, and you want the star to look good. And it's like, okay, Rock's already a star. And I'm not denying that at all. And I have a lot of respect for The Rock. And I actually, funny note, I saw Moana a couple weeks ago. That You're Welcome song will never leave my brain. So thank you, Rock, for that. Every now and then, things will get quiet, and I'll just start humming that song. It's like, God damn it. It's like, it's never going to leave. It will never leave. But anyway, Rock's already a star. Why not take the opportunity, use The Rock, and let Bray Wyatt beat the crap out of him and let the Wyatts destroy him and leave him broken wreck in the middle of the ring, then people that The Rock potentially drew in by his presence, those people will have seen these guys beat up The Rock. And potentially, hopefully, they might stick around to watch the Wyatts if they found the Wyatts interesting at all. But they're not thinking that way. They're just thinking, oh, well, these guys are stars, and we've determined that they're stars, and they've got to look good at all times because they're stars. And don't show as much care in making the actual stars that they have from week to week, making them look good. And that's a problem. And that's, you can't rely on the part-timers forever. And that's kind of my point. And it's so sad because the young guys, they're there every week and they're getting overexposed because they're wrestling and working every week. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It's just, I feel bad for them. I really do. But yeah, I mean, WrestleMania, you look at the card, it's going to be Cena Taker, likely for the title, almost assuredly at this point. Goldberg Lesnar again, maybe for the Universal title, which, I mean, I've heard that one thrown around anyway. Triple H and Rollins, which, to be fair, that one does have a story, and that one I'm okay with. But again, it's another example. It's like, all right, well, Triple H has a WrestleMania plan, but a lot of other guys don't, like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles are the two big ones where I'm like, I have absolutely no fucking idea what they're going to do at WrestleMania. They might be in a Money in the Bank match. They might be in the Andrade the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They might get just crammed into some fucking tag match. I have no idea. But that's sad that I have no idea. Unless it's like they're able to cook like some Jericho like major tag team program on Raw or something, but I doubt they'll be able to do that. Enzo and Cass, what are they going to be doing at WrestleMania? I don't know. I mean, granted, the current thing that they're doing with Rusev is terrible, but it's just all these guys that work so hard and try to carry the show and work week to week. They're getting overexposed. They have to put up with the shitty booking. And then the old guys get to swoop in whenever they want and, for WrestleMania season and get like all the credit. And it's just, it's really sad. And, I mean, I just shrug my shoulders at it at this point. But, yeah, WrestleMania, I mean, it's just not interesting to me right now. I'm looking ahead to what they're doing. It's like, I don't want to see Cena Taker. I don't care because the streak's gone. And so what? I don't want to watch Undertaker anymore. That's my main reason. Is like, I just don't want to watch Undertaker anymore. I don't know if there's anybody you could put him up against that I'd like to see. And if Cena wins, so what? Like, all right, Cena beats him. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Because like I said, streak's gone, so who cares? Who fucking cares? They're probably both going to go away right after WrestleMania anyway, because Cena will get wrapped into some other project, and Taker will take his near year-long sabbatical and then come back for the next WrestleMania season. It's just... Goldberg Lesnar, who gives a fuck? I'm willing to bet neither guy will be there the next night after WrestleMania. So, I mean, Rollins versus Triple H. I mean, Rollins better go over. I mean, if you want to try and make anything out of it. And granted, I don't like Seth Rollins as a babyface, but I mean, it's better than just having Triple H go over again. But I don't know. I'm just not interested in what I'm seeing in them laying the groundwork for WrestleMania. I'm just not happy about it. The Cruiserweight division, which has gotten significantly better since they started doing 205 Live. And again, I'm not saying it's great, but it's more digestible and easier to watch now that there are actually characters and stories and individual feuds going on. And Jack Gallagher, that dude is my boy. I love that guy so much. But they're probably just going to get like a battle royal or something. They're not going to get like a major program heading into WrestleMania. I doubt it anyway. They're just going to cram 12 of them into one match and just say, here you go. There might be a lot of those. Who knows? But yeah, I'm just not excited about WrestleMania. Just really not. I hate to say that because it's WrestleMania season. We're supposed to get really amped up and stuff, but and I guess I'll kind of tie this into my discussion of Wrestle Kingdom 11. I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 and the show really made me realize like, and this is something that I've kind of always said but haven't always practiced. you don't have to be handcuffed to WWE. You really, really don't. There are other options out there, and there are other things to watch, and there's other expressions of the art form of professional wrestling that you can watch, enjoy, whether it be Lucha Underground, whether it be New Japan, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be TNA, or anything else that's going on right now. There are other things to watch, and I highly recommend don't just stick with WWE. Go out there and find other things to watch. And this is not necessarily an anti-WWE sentiment. What I'm saying is I'm finding myself less and less compelled to watch Raw and SmackDown, especially at the expense of products like New Japan, because New Japan, throughout the course of the year, I watched the G1 Climax, but I missed a couple shows. I didn't see Power Struggle. I didn't see much of the Junior Heavyweight Best of the Super Juniors tournament. I didn't watch any of the World Tag Team League because I'm busy and I'm watching a bunch of other things, and I'm watching a bunch of other wrestling shows like Lucha Underground, NXT, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But I'm also watching Raw and SmackDown, two shows that I'm really not that enthralled with at the moment. And I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 and I was just kind of like, New Japan, I'm sorry. Like, why am I not watching you? Like, why the fuck am I watching Raw every Monday night? Why am I watching it? I'm not getting anything out of it. Why am I even bothering with even SmackDown, which is the better of the two shows? Why bother with SmackDown? If I'm not, like, enjoying it, if I'm not, like, enthralled with it, why watch it? And again, this is not an anti-WWE sentiment. It's like, look, Raw and SmackDown might be the shits, but I like NXT. I like the Cruiserweight Classic. I like 205 Live to some degree. It's solid. It's not great. I'm going to check out the UK Championship. The first show was tonight, and the second show is going to be tomorrow night. I'm just going to watch them both on Monday. Hopefully it's good. It's interesting. I'll check it out. I can't say it'll be good. I haven't seen what the reaction to it has been, but hopefully it's solid. It's a different flavor. I'll enjoy it. So there's other WWE shows out there that I can enjoy, and I think that's my point overall. It's like, I don't have to watch WWE, and I think a lot of fans feel like they have to watch WWE because it's WWE, but it's like, you know, instead of watching Raw, I could just get caught up in New Japan, or I could watch literally anything else. I don't have to watch Raw. So yeah, that might be, once we get past WrestleMania season, and there haven't been, you know, and there aren't, like, significant changes to how Raw is presented and how SmackDown is presented, I might just give up on main roster WWE, or at least, like, get out of the habit of watching it regularly, because I'd much rather watch what's going on in the world outside of WWE. And that's just kind of how I feel at the moment. There are other things I'd rather watch, namely New Japan. And TNA, and I guess I'll talk about this now, them being bought out by Anthem, and they're under new management, new ownership. I've watched the first two Impacts since the change. I haven't noticed any major booking changes or any kind of, like, what do I want to say, presentation changes that have drastically improved or diminished the show. So I don't really have a vibe of anything that they're going to do that will really change anything. But, you know, there's been talks that Jeff Jarrett's going back there. There's been talks that they're going to start building working relationships with, like, New Japan and Ring of Honor. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. For right now, the shows have been kind of ho-hum, and I haven't really, not terrible, but I haven't really thought anything. I was like, well, that happened. I mean, the Maria Alley thing is still going. I don't know how the fuck that storyline has gone on as long as it has, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that still going? Holy fuck. But, yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity for TNA to do a complete facelift, complete overhaul, and change their product, and hopefully create a new identity for themselves. And we'll see. Like I said, Jeff Jarrett's back, supposedly, and they might open the doors for other potential relationships. So we'll see what happens. It's very interesting, to say the least, and it's something that TNA probably needed at this point. But with that said, the main thing I want to talk about in this video is my review of Wrestle Kingdom 11, which happened on the 4th. So I'm obviously very late with this, but I still want to talk about it because, and I think just based on my speech from earlier, you probably know what I thought of the show. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was as complete of a show as last year's was, or Wrestle Kingdom 9. But really, and I kind of said something similar with Aztec Warfare from Lucha Underground, where to me that's becoming a better version of the Royal Rumble than the Royal Rumble is, because I've been so disenfranchised with the Royal Rumble in the last few years. That like Aztec Warfare, it's just a better version of the Royal Rumble. I'm getting, it's like, yeah, they do. Lucha Underground does the Royal Rumble better than the Royal Rumble does, but Wrestle Kingdom, these Tokyo Dome shows, I mean, fuck, it's becoming, for me, like, I get more excited about these now, and this is the third year in a row I've watched the Tokyo Dome show. I'm getting more excited over the Tokyo Dome shows than I do WrestleMania. Because that's becoming more of a worthwhile annual event to me than WrestleMania. Because this the third year in a row that I've watched it, and this is the third year in a row that they've knocked my socks off. And this was probably, in some ways, the weakest one of the three that I've watched. And it still knocked my socks off. But really, I think the main criticism I have of the show is that the undercard was not weak, but there wasn't anything that really like stood out and really, really impressed me, like the Suzuki Sakuraba match from 9, or anything like that. It was very kind of an ordinary undercard, and then the last 4 title matches just completely blew my socks off. They were amazing. So it ended very, very strongly, but it just wasn't, like, the greatness wasn't dispersed throughout the entire show. So, good undercard, and then just this huge, like, 4-match string that was amazing, that really closed out strongly. So, I did really enjoy Wrestle Kingdom 11. I thought it was a very strong show. And, with that, I guess I'll just jump right into it. This was the first year I've watched the New Japan Rumble on the pre-show. I'd never watched it. I didn't watch it the last 2 years. I checked out the show, but, I mean, it was basically, like the gimmick battle royal from WrestleMania X7. It was just kind of like there to like, oh, hey, look who we dug up. And, look at this old guy we threw out there. And, just to get a pop. Michael Elgin ended up winning it. Liger was in it. Nagata was in it. Cheeseburger was in it, and a few other guys as well. And it was what it was. There's not really a whole lot to say about it other than that, but it is kind of indicative. The reason I brought up Yuji Nagata and Jushin Liger, these are two guys that are legends, that are highly celebrated, highly respected. And unlike the legends in the WWE, they don't take a full year off. They work fairly regularly. Nagata and Liger, I think it was at, what show was it? It was Dominion, I think, where they had 2 great title matches. The never openweight title match with Nagata and, I'm blanking on his name. Shibata, sorry. Fuck. Yeah, they had a great match, and Liger and Kushida had a really good match for the junior heavyweight title. So, these are two guys that are not as good as they used to be, but can still go. And they still work fairly regularly, but, come the big dome show, they get put into the pre-show battle royal because New Japan builds up their stars. They have their current crop of major stars now, the Okadas, the Tanahashis, and I'll throw Naito and Omega up there now because they've been built up tremendously well. Kushida, those guys, Shibata, Goto, Ishii, Hanma, Makabe, all those guys. And they build them up, and they reward them with big matches at the Dome show, so it makes it look like the entire year's worth of events from January 4th to January 4th all mean something and all play some kind of a role in what's going on. Omega was built up all the way from his loss to Kushida at Wrestle Kingdom 10 to his IC title victory, to his feud with Elgin, to his victory in the G1 Climax, and then all the way to this point. He went from being the junior heavyweight guy in the Bullet Club to being the leader of the Bullet Club, the elite of the Bullet Club along with the Young Bucks, and just basically just being built up over the course of a year to get him to the Wrestle Kingdom main event. And that's the difference, and that's the type of booking that I would like to see in main roster WWE. It's like, look, build up a guy over the course of a year and see if you can make him an interesting and intriguing star. And they think that they did that with Roman Reigns, but no, they didn't. They just rammed a guy down our throats for a year and expected us to care. But, Omega was built up beautifully well. Naito has done wonders for himself, and I actually heard one person made the comment that New Japan basically gave WWE the blueprint to fixing Roman Reigns with Tetsuya Naito, and they just won't follow it for whatever reason, but hey, whatever. But, and like I said before, Naito and Omega had to fill the shoes left behind by Nakamura and AJ. And you can say that they're not as good as those two, but they did a fantastic job, all things considered. I mean, that should have been a huge blow to them, losing Nakamura and AJ, and it was. But Naito and Omega were able to fill their shoes about as well as I could ask of any two wrestlers. So they did a really good job, and they got rewarded by being put into the two biggest matches at the next Dome show. So, cool. I mean, awesome. I like that. That's really cool. So, and again, that's the difference. It's like, look, you have this current crop of guys. We have the legends. We have your past stars like the Nagatas and the Ligers. And they're great, and you can still use them and get them to help guys and contribute, but we have a present and a future, and the legends don't come before the present and the future, because you just get to a point after a while where it's like, all right, when are we gonna have the new Undertaker? When are we gonna have the new Triple H? When are we gonna have these guys? And I just feel like these guys the guys that could potentially be those guys, like the Bray Wyatts, keep getting fucked over. And it's like, well, fuck it, why do I care? You know? But anyway, moving right along from there, I just wanted to make that point about the New Japan Rumble. I thought that was interesting. But going on to the main card, we had Tiger Mask W versus Tiger the Dark, which was actually Kota Ibushi and ACH under the masks, which was very interesting. Also, unfortunately, kind of raised my expectations for the match. I'm like, oh, Ibushi and ACH, they're going to tear it down. And it was just kind of an ordinary match. Tiger Mask W, played by Ibushi, he ultimately won. I guess the only other thing I can say about this match is that both gimmicks, are based off of a cartoon. An anime. Don't call animes cartoons. I've been yelled at for that many times before. But it really does kind of make the point for me when people say it's like, oh, New Japan and Japanese wrestling, that's real blood and guts. That's like real wrestling. And what WWE does is just cartoony bullshit. I'm like, no. I mean, New Japan has gimmicks. They have characters. I mean, they literally have two characters opening up their Dome show that are based off cartoon characters. And it's like, but the difference is that New Japan has better booking, better presentation style, and their show makes more sense. And they care about like little details that make the bigger matches matter. So ultimately, theirs is the more worthwhile show. So there is an entertainment factor to New Japan. It isn't just sport. There is an entertainment factor. It's just they just do it better. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point. The opening match, it was okay. Second match was for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. The Young Bucks defending against Roppongi Vice. Now, get ready for this. This may shock some of you, those of you who have listened to my reviews of Young Bucks matches in the past. You may have heard me say that I don't like their matches, that they're very repetitive and spot-filled, and their matches don't make any sense, and they do not adhere to any form of psychology as I know them or anybody else involved in the wrestling business knows them. Get ready, this might surprise you. This was a Young Bucks match that I actually liked. I know, shocker, but bear with me. All the accusations that I always make about the Young Bucks, they're just spot monkeys. Their matches don't make any sense. They do not adhere to the rules of tag team wrestling at all. So there's no psychology involved. It's just them doing spots and ripping off the Hardys and DX. And it's just annoying and repetitive, and I just can't stand it. Here, they played the heels effectively. They did an injury angle where Trent Beretta did like an over-the-top rope dive and landed on his back, and high risk, and he felt the wrath of high risk, and Rocky Romero was stuck in a handicap match type situation with the heels beating down on one guy. So it's like, all right, the heels are getting heat, the baby faces are in trouble, and they have obstacles to overcome. They're telling a story. They're making me feel something for the baby face. They're making me hate the heels. They're telling an actual wrestling story. Wow. I didn't know the Young Bucks had it in them. I didn't know. I'm not saying this is a match of the year or a match. It's nowhere near match of the night, especially when you get to the last four matches. But it was a Young Bucks match that I actually enjoyed, and it showed the strengths of the Young Bucks, which is they are charismatic and they do have great athleticism, but it didn't come at the expense of telling the story or getting heat on themselves and making the match work. And I was like, all right, that's what I like to see. That's the type of stuff that I like to see. And it made Roppongi Vice's victory all the more satisfying when they ultimately won the titles. I'm like, okay, that was cool. I enjoyed that. It's a Young Bucks match that I actually enjoyed. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. Next up on the card, I believe it was the other tag team title match, the second of 3 tag team title match. That is one knock I do have on New Japan. They have way too many titles, but especially when you throw Ring of Honor out there and Ring of Honor defends their belts on their shows. It's like there's way too many fucking belts here. But this was for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team titles. Members of the Bullet Club, Chaos, Naito's group, which I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation for this, but it's Los Ingobernables de Japan. I'm sure I butchered that, and the champions were David Finlay, Ricochet, and Satoshi Kojima. And the members of the Bullet Club, it was Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page, Yujiro Takahashi, great entrance by Takahashi, by the way. Very nice. The members of Chaos were Jado, my boy Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi. And the members of Naito's group were Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. This was set up very similarly to a tag team turmoil match, where instead of having all 4 teams out there at once, they would have 2 teams work each other, and then the losing team would be eliminated, and the winning team would go on to face the next team, and it would just keep going until there were no teams left, and you had an ultimate winner. Fun match overall. It was solid. Nothing too great. Will Ospreay got to do a bunch of cool things because he's cool. Ricochet got to do some cool things because he's cool. But overall, it was just solid. Solid stuff. Naito's group ended up winning the belts, although I heard they lost them at New Year's Dash, which I haven't watched. Yeah. I mean, that's really all there is to say about it. It was just fun for what it was. I enjoyed it. It was cool to see some of those talents get a spot on the show. But other than that, I don't really have anything that great to say about it. It was just sort of there. Next up was Cody Rhodes. Oh, I'm sorry, just Cody, which, by the way, it's really weird to call him just Cody, but that's how it is. Cody Rhodes taking on Juice Robinson, who you may remember as CJ Parker from NXT. And I guess it's just this dude's job to debuting people, because this was Cody Rhodes making his debut in the Tokyo Dome, which Cody Rhodes had a very interesting year, didn't he? He worked WrestleMania. He appeared on camera at TNA Bound for Glory. He didn't wrestle at that show, but he did appear on camera. He wrestled at Ring of Honor's Final Battle, and now he's wrestling at New Japan in the Tokyo Dome show. And he did all of that in a year. I'm like, wow. You go, Cody. That's pretty cool. But, yeah, so Cody obviously got the win here, to the surprise of absolutely no one. Fine match for what it was. It was just Cody showing off what he could do and having a fine match. Although I'm calling him CJ Parker, Juice Robinson looked like he was trying a little harder too. I didn't want to just be the job guy. He wanted to have a little bit of flash and show off what he could do as well, and took the opportunity to kind of make at least a little bit of an impression. But overall, this was Cody's match and was his big debut in the Tokyo Dome. And overall, solid for accomplishing that. It was fine. No complaints here. And I believe next up it was the Ring of Honor World Title, a rematch from Final Battle. Adam Cole taking on the champion, Kyle O'Reilly, who won the belt at Final Battle. When I reviewed Final Battle, I said I wasn't that impressed with their match. It was okay. I thought the finish was really cool, but other than that, it wasn't really that great of a main event. I think this match was even worse. It was just kind of, again, not terrible. It was just kind of bland and ordinary. And Adam Cole won the belt back, which kind of makes the Final Battle match feel a little pointless. But it was just, again, it was like, oh, okay. It was just a match that was there. Not really a whole lot to say about it, except that Adam Cole won the belt back. But next up was the IWGP Tag Team Championship. This was a triple threat match. The Guerrillas of Destiny, representing the Bullet Club, Tama Tonga and Tonga Roa taking on Tomoaki Hanma and Togi Makabe and Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano, who that is pretty funny that they stole the World Tag League trophies from Makabe and Hanma, and they stole the tag belts from the Guerrillas of Destiny. That was a pretty interesting way to get yourself worked into a title situation. But overall, I thought, again, just a good, solid title match. Not a whole lot else to say. A lot of good talents involved in this from Ishii. You got big hard hitters like Ishii and Hanma and Makabe, and the Guerrillas of Destiny, and you have Yano, who's there to provide comedy. So it made for a pretty fun match and overall an enjoyable watch. I was really surprised that Ishii and Yano won the belts. I was like, wow, really? It wouldn't have been my first choice, but overall it's like, all right, I'll take it. But overall, fun, solid match. Not really a whole lot else to say about it other than that. So, up to this point, like I said, Wrestle Kingdom 11 had been like, it's solid, but it's not really blowing my socks off. Then we get into the closing 4 title matches, which, oh my god, I dare any show this year to put on a 4-match stretch as good as this one, because god damn did they close out strong with these matches. First up, for the junior heavyweight, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, we had Kushida defending his belt against Hiromu Takahashi. I hadn't watched a lot of Takahashi before. I've seen a little bit of him, but I already loved Kushida. I think Kushida is a really good cruiserweight talent and junior heavyweight talent, whatever you want to say. I think he's very good, and as they mentioned on the English commentary of the show, he's become the ace of the junior heavyweights for New Japan. And this match, just another great one. When you look at his matches with Omega, and you look at his matches in the Battle of the Super Juniors tournaments, and his matches with Will Ospreay, and all sorts of other things, I mean, the guy just constantly delivers. He's just a really good cruiserweight style worker, and I just really enjoy watching him. And this match was no exception, although it wasn't a losing effort. He did lose the belt to Takahashi, and it'll be interesting to see what Takahashi does with it, because I was kind of getting like a kind of a Japanese like Shawn Michaels or Johnny Mundo vibe from him while watching him. So it'll be interesting to see what he does moving forward. But maybe Kushida, I don't know, maybe he'll be moved up into the IC title, heavyweight ranks, maybe? I don't know. Maybe, or he'll just stay in the junior heavyweights and get a rematch at some point. We shall see. I haven't followed up with New Japan since watching this show, so, because I've been watching Raw and Smackdown. Aren't I smart? But, yeah, really enjoyed this match. If you do like that more high-flying, fast-paced, junior heavyweight style, I think you'll really enjoy this match. It was really... And that was the other thing these 4 matches had. All of them gave something different. It wasn't just the same style of match over and over again. I thought all 4 matches delivered something really different and really special. And that'll move me right along into the Never Openweight title match. Katsuyori Shibata defending his title against Hiroki Goto with... the added backstory that they were tag team partners and friends, and Goto had never really won the big one. He was just one of those guys that was always on the outside looking in. A lot of hype going into this one, and a lot of intrigue as well. And as is common with the Never Openweight title matches, this was a hard-hitting stiff fest where they just beat the shit out of each other. And, in the same vein of the first Never Openweight title match I saw was at Wrestle Kingdom 9 between Ishii and Makabe, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, man, this hard-hitting style is just awesome. And then you saw Ishii and Shibata from last year, and that match was like, whoa, holy shit. And then Shibata had an awesome match with Nagata. It was like, whoa, these matches are incredible. They're just hard-hitting stiff fest. They're nasty and awesome, and it's a style of match that you're just not going to get in too many other places. So it really stands out all the more, and a very good match. And when they kept explaining that Goto's never really won the big one, and, he's probably never going to win the big one and all that other stuff, it made it all the more satisfying when he ultimately won the title. I was like, wow, cool, Goto's the Never Openweight champion now. I think he showed in this match that he could be a good fit in those style of matches, so bring it on. I'm fine with it. More Never Openweight stuff. I could watch those type of matches all day long. They're great. Next up was the IC title match. Tetsuya Naito defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi in the sub-main event, which is kind of weird that... and they mentioned this in the English commentary, that there was talk that this should be the closing match over Omega and Okada, which is funny because a few years ago at Wrestle Kingdom, Naito was in the IWGP World Heavyweight title match, and his match actually did get moved down to the second spot, and the IC title match took the main event spot. So it's really interesting. Would have been interesting if Naito had gotten the main event spot at the Dome under similar circumstances. But honestly, the main event was so good. It's like that match totally deserved a main event. But I'll get there. But this match was... This is how good these 4 matches were. This was the weakest one of the 4, and it was damn great. It's Tanahashi and Naito, and Naito's proven to me anyway that he can hang with those type of guys. And Tanahashi is a great main event level worker and seems to work well with just about everybody he's put in the ring with. So, you look at his matches with Okada. Their matches with Okada are on a whole nother level. But you look at his matches with Nakamura and his matches with AJ and his matches with pretty much anybody else. I mean, Naito and Tanahashi, I'm like, yeah, they could tear it down. I've seen them work with each other before, and it's been great. So, yeah, they had a great match here. Naito got the win, which, good move, I think. Again, reward Naito for the good work he's done. And overall, just a very exciting, good title match. I really liked it. But the main event, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I didn't see the show live, but I was getting text from friends of mine. No spoilers, thank God. But one of them said to me, and this was all his text said, Omega versus Okada, 2017 match of the year, will not be topped. And that was all he said. And I knew there was a lot of buzz surrounding that match. And I have to say, if this match is not the 2017 match of the year, I want to see the fucking match that tops it, because this is going to be a hard one to top. This match was absolutely incredible. Incredible match. I would even go as far to say, and keep in mind, I've only been watching New Japan regularly since Wrestle Kingdom 9, so a very limited history base from my perspective. But since that point, from Wrestle Kingdom 9 onward, I would say that this is probably the best match I've seen to come out of New Japan since that time. And that is saying a lot. When you look at the Okada-Tanahashi matches, and you look at AJ versus Okada, and that match they had at Dominion that I loved, and AJ and Nakamura, and so many other great matches. The never open weight matches I just talked about. Some of the junior heavyweight matches. Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida, that excellent match they had. And for this match to be the best one, that is incredible. But this match was absolutely fucking unbelievable. I was just in awe while watching it. It was one of those type of matches. And again, major props goes out to Omega for the year he's had, even in the losing effort. For him to do as well as he did throughout the year, and then in his first main event in the Dome, really incredible stuff, and he really showed how special he is as a talent. I was really impressed, and nothing but good things to say about this match. It was just, and Okada, I mean, he's the man. I love that guy. He's, as a worker, he's all of the positives of Randy Orton with none of the negatives. He's just a great athletic worker, and just so good in everything he does. And I could watch that dude work main events all the time. And this, again, it was another great one inside the Dome. Third year in a row that I've been watching anyway. Third year in a row, and it's like he completely blew my socks off again. I mean, Okada, he really is something special. And this match was something special. And it wasn't just a finisher fest either. They just did things to each other that, the table bump that they did, which was nasty. Some of the dives that they did. The nice little story they had going with Omega kept trying to hit the one-winged angel, and he just couldn't do it. Okada just kept countering out of it. Some of the counters they did were amazing. Again, I was just in awe while watching it. It was just an amazing match all around, and a killer main event. And like I said, I highly doubt another match is going to top it this year in 2017. And it's hard to say. January 4th, we had the 2017 match of the year, but it really was that special. And an excellent match to close out Wrestle Kingdom 11. And again, to compare it to WrestleMania, those of you who saw my review of WrestleMania 32, you know what I thought. It was overly long, and by the time the main event rolled around, I was done. I mean, I think the Rock segment pretty much killed me, where I was like, can this show just be over already? I'm done. I'm tapping. I'm tapping out. I want the show to be over. Oh, the main event has Roman Reigns in it? I'm double tapping. I was like, please end this show. I want it to be over. This show, for it to be as long as it was, and for me to be jumping out of my chair, on my feet, cheering Okada on in this main event, and just being excited the entire way through, that really says something for the strength of the show, the caliber of the workers, and just how great New Japan can be when they've got all their ducks in a row and they do really good things. I mean, those, like I said, those 4 title matches at the end that they closed with were, I mean, you will not see a better string of 4 matches all year long. You can't. I can't fathom it. Like, I can't fathom having that many great matches in a row on one show with no, like, filler or bumpers. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like, how did you do that? That's crazy. But they did it, and it was great. And the main event in particular was really something special. And like I said, I highly doubt it'll be topped for Match of the Year. But we shall see. I've been wrong before, so we shall see. But Wrestle Kingdom 11, major thumbs up for me. And when I do my top 10 matches for January 2017 and my brand of the month, it's most likely going to be New Japan, and expect the top 10 list to be mostly made up of Wrestle Kingdom 11 matches. It was that good of a show, and really enjoyed it overall. So again, I know I'm a little late with this review, but I did want to get it out there, and I did want to, I did want to give my feelings on the event, and specifically that main event, which was absolutely incredible. Incredible stuff. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is so damn good. But that is all I have for you now. Had a lot of catching up to do. Hopefully I did it well enough. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I said, my next Star Wars review should be up, if not tomorrow, then definitely within the next 2 or 3 days. Also, I plan on doing another classic match review. The poll for that will be posted on my Twitter. Link to my Twitter is down below. But that is all I have for you now. Phew, got over it. We're done. Just like the New York Giants season, I'm done here. But yeah, I've got a lot more videos lined up, and I got a lot of stuff planned. I might do something, not a really long series, like some of my previous WrestleMania series have been, because I just don't have any big ideas, but I might do something, like a video series for WrestleMania. Maybe continuing the best to worst, maybe do like 3 or 4 more entries to that. That's probably what I'll do. But for right now, this is all I got for you. Hope you all are having a good weekend. Hopefully you all are having a good 2017 so far. And hopefully you all enjoyed this video, because I've got plenty more lined up for you. So peace out, everybody.